Welcome to our May 2020 astrology forecast. The morning star of Mercury learns to not let rivals stop him from sticking to or going for the career plans that he loves to work at the most when he ingresses into Gemini on the 11th of the month. Many astrologists say that Mercury in Gemini has distracted mentality, lesser amounts of ability to focus on one thing and stay with that and to stick to one line of work. That's what many astrologists say, but in actuality that really is not true. Mercury in Gemini is so intelligent that lesser intelligent individuals become overly envious of his protean brain power, engaging him in gaming strategies. Calm, deliberate action wins the day during this transit. Mars, god of war, moves into Pisces, and that's going to happen on the 13th of May, bestowing great emotional strength to keep Mercury's mind very, very strong while he moves into Cancer on the 28th. At that time, emotion will attempt to overcome the mental discipline, so you got to watch out for that. Now, there's a full supermoon happening in Scorpio, affecting the most visceral and the most important areas of life on the 7th at 10:45 a.m. Universal Time Coordinated using tropical astrology. The healing musical note, the ancient Western arrangement for Scorpio, is the note E. So we're going to play that for you. That's E, and that is for Scorpio. Now, there's also a new moon in Gemini on May 22nd, and that's going to be influencing transportation and communication at 5:39 p.m. That's also UTC, and the healing musical note in the ancient Western array for Gemini is the note of F. Okay, so that's F for Gemini in the ancient Western array that you can utilize if you want to have this become something that you can use for a healing tone, any kind of magical working that you might be doing. We're also going to give you all the important planetary aspects, ingresses, and archangels, including astrology charts, horoscope houses, station changes, and Zodiac angels coming up next. I'm Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel. I'm a Rosicrucian seer, biblical astrologer, Christian psychic, and Gnostic mystic, and this is a Readings by Rosemary angelic transmission. Our disclaimer: the astrology angel magic that we teach should be used with all mindfulness, since powerful forces of manifestation are unleashed. This is intended exclusively for entertainment purposes. Now, regarding May's full moon, we're going to use a diagram to show you the full moon and the new moon for May. So May's new moon here in Gemini, and May's full moon here in Scorpio, and the full moon in May is called Hare Moon by Wiccans, like a hare rabbit. And also they use that in medieval England. The neo-pagan name for May's full lunar phase is grass moon, while colonial Americans call this milk moon, and Algonquins name this flower moon. So May's bright moon is a month when the season of springtime in the northern hemisphere is halfway to midsummer. Okay, halfway to midsummer. And that which is planted, that they had planted the month before, begins to grow, okay? As both plants and animals begin to provide offspring, milk, and a variety of flora. So that's for the full supermoon. It's a supermoon. And that just means it's very close to the Earth. So that's the full moon. It's a super moon for May's full moon in Scorpio on the 7th of May for 2020. Now, the new moon is going to be in Gemini here on the 22nd of the month. So we have our new moon in Gemini, the sign of Gemini, the twins. All right, now we're going to give you the guardian angelic forces for May 2020. It's going to include the Archangel Gabriel. This is for Gabriel. Since Scorpio the Scorpion is a fixed water sign, being air of water, and the elemental Archangel Raphael, since Gemini the twins is a mutable air sign, being water of air. That's water of air, so that's Raphael for Gemini. Okay, so we're going to also be showing you the new moon and the full moon, and on a chart here in a little bit we're going to show you that. But basically May has, we're going to get into now the ingresses, the lunar phases, also the planetary ingresses, the natural horoscope houses, station changes, planetary aspects, also elemental and planetary guardian archangels and zodiac angels using universal time coordinated, which is basically the same thing as, it's analogous to Greenwich Mean Time, okay, and using tropical astrology. Okay, so we're going to now put this up so that you can see a little bit what we have for some of the moon phase. We'll bring it a little closer for you here. Okay, so May 7th in 2020, again, the full moon is in Scorpio here, okay, on the 7th, and that's analogous to the natural 8th house of birth, sex, death, and debt. Planetary Archangel Gabriel is going to visit the dwelling of Zodiac Angel Barchiel of Scorpio. So Planetary Archangel Gabriel, who's the Archangel of the Moon, is going to be visiting the dwelling of Archangel of the Zodiac Angel Barchiel for Scorpio. The elemental Archangel for Scorpio is Guardian Angel Gabriel, and who presides over all of the water signs. And the Merkaba field for Gabriel is this. This is the Merkaba field for the Archangel of Water, who is Gabriel. Merkaba meaning Mer meaning rotating fields of light, Ka meaning spirit, and Ba meaning soul. All right. Now, for again, for the May's full moon, called a hare moon by Wiccans, and the neo-pagans named this full lunar phase grass moon, and colonial Americans refer to this time as milk moon, while Algonquins look for a flower moon. Now on the 11th, we're going to be seeing a Mercury ingress Gemini, which is similar to the natural third house of transportation and communication. Planetary Archangel Raphael will visit habitation of Zodiac Angel Umbriel. So Umbriel is for Gemini, the Zodiac Angel, and Raphael is for the planet Mercury, also for air signs, but for Mercury in this instance. Okay. Now, for if we were using it for air signs, it would have a Merkaba field that is this shape. And this time we're using it for Mercury, so it's not really about that. But for the new moon in Gemini, we'll see that it's about that Merkaba field. Okay. Now on the 13th of 2020, we have Mars will ingress into Pisces, which is akin to the natural 12th house of spirituality. Planetary seraphim Samael visits the abode of Zodiac Angel Int'l. That's Samael for Mars, and the Zodiac Angel Int'l is for Pisces, Pisces the fish. On the 20th, we have Sun ingress Gemini, which is analogous to the natural third house of transportation and communication. The planetary Archangel Michael visits dwelling of Zodiac Angel Umbriel. So again, Michael for the Sun, in this case, represents the Sun, and will be for ingressing into Gemini, which the Zodiac Angel is Umbriel for Gemini. On the 22nd of the month of May 2020, we have a a new moon, our new moon in the sign of Gemini. Okay, new moon in the sign of Gemini, which is similar to the natural. Third house of transportation and communication. Planetary Archangel Gabriel, because Gabriel's for the moon, visits habitates with Zodiac Angel Umbriel of Gemini. Elemental Archangel for Gemini is the angel Raphael, which we mentioned, who presides over all the air signs. And again, the Merkaba field for Raphael, or for the air sign Archangel, this is the Merkaba field for that. Okay, and these are used when you're dealing with celestial coordinates, not Earth coordinates, or for where the constellations are, the fixed signs of the zodiac. And you'll see those. There's on, you see the bull and the lion and the angel and the where are we? Leo and for Scorpio they use an eagle because it's fixed water. And even though Scorpio is a scorpion, it's sort of an alchemical secret how it sort of elevates into an eagle. Okay, so that's for the new moon, and that's going to be again here. New moon in Gemini, and that's again on the 22nd of the month. Okay. We're going to now talk about the 28th. There is one more ingress when Mercury is going to then ingress into Cancer, okay, which is akin to the natural fourth house of hearth, home, and family. And the planetary archangel Raphael again visits the abode of zodiac angel Muriel. So Raphael of Mercury visits the zodiac angel's abode, who's Muriel of the sign of Cancer, the crab. All right, now the station changes for this month. On May 11th, we have Saturn turning retrograde, and while transiting through the sign of Aquarius, the water bear. Now, since Aquarius, the water bear, has a divine tone of I know, expect secular, antediluvian, and egalitarian regulations to come into fashion. So that's what's going to be going on there. And on May 13th of 2020, Venus goes retrograde while transiting to the sign of Gemini, the twins. Since Gemini, the twins, has a divine tone of I think, anticipate new romances and friendships to blossom due to antiquated methods of transport and communication coming back into style. So we have some things, some fashions of yore, coming back into style, of yesteryear coming back into fashion. And on May 14, 2020, Jupiter turns retrograde. Also, Jupiter is a big deal, whatever it does, because it's such a big planet and such a beneficent and generous planet, while transiting through the sign of Capricorn, the goat. Since Capricorn, the goat, has a divine tone of I use, because what good is anything if you don't utilize it? Be expecting that personal sovereignty becomes paramount when it comes to acclimating popularity and status and clout. Therefore, revisit structures and settings intended for privacy and for autonomy. So make sure you check all those kind of things. Anything you want to be private or autonomous, make sure you check it. May 14th, very important for that. And now we're going to get into the planetary aspects for May. All right, we have here on the top for May 5th, and we're going to, May 1st. Yeah, May 1st. And we're going to bring that in a little closer for you. See it a little bit better. Yeah, for the planetary aspects is better now. Okay, so on May 1st, we have Mercury in Taurus conjunct Uranus in Taurus. Okay, so we have a conjunction here between Uranus and Mercury. And that will cause intentionally detailed activity towards money and possessions, helps create financial autonomy via innovative technologies. And on May 4th, here in this chart, we have Venus in Gemini. We have Venus here in Gemini, square on the red line, Neptune in Pisces here, okay? And that will cause intrigue in both love and money matters, and that will cause tension, especially in those determined to reach spiritual enlightenment or spiritual attainment, okay? So there'll be some tension about that. Now, also on May 4th, Also on this chart, Sun in Taurus and conjunct Mercury in Taurus here. Taurus and Mercury and the Sun. And that will cause an indulgence in creature comforts and luxury, facilitates sort of a calculated and comprehensive approach to reaping copious amounts of treasure and reward on the 4th. And now we're going to take a look at the 7th of May. And here on the 7th, top chart, we have Mercury is in Taurus here, and that's going to be sextile Neptune in Pisces on the green line, Neptune in Pisces again on the 7th. A deliberately thorough examination of economic factors eases the earthly path of empathic religious devotees. So that means that being thorough about economics will actually ease the path of those who are intuitive or psychic or empathic or religious or very, have very strict devotees with very strict religious practices. Anybody like that will be actually helped by the thorough and very complete examination of what's going on economically, because not everybody's born to be good with money. Not everybody's born with something that's going to make them good with money, and not everybody's an earth sign. Not everybody's an air sign. Fire signs might be different, and water signs might be a little different because they might have other things a little bit more important to them. So to balance everybody out, everybody's good at something, and everybody, should be able to be utilized for what they're actually good for, what they actually are good at, or what they enjoy, and that will be a very helpful thing. Now on May 9th, here on the second chart down here, we have Mercury in Taurus here, and that's going to be trine Pluto retrograde in Capricorn on the blue line. Pluto is going to be retrograde in Capricorn. Extensive surveillance of monetary activity increases. So surveillance with the monetary activity will increase, along with the probability that clandestine or secretive financial dealings will be brought to light. So the surveillance will sort of help make things more transparent, so that everybody can make sure that everybody's being treated fairly, and everybody can feel secure about how they're being treated, especially in the areas of money. Because people need to make sure that they're not being taken advantage of, and so that will help. That will help. Okay, now we have on the 10th of May, on the top chart here, we have on the 10th, 2020 May, we have Mercury in Taurus here on the blue line trine Jupiter in Capricorn, will cause far-reaching illumination and enlightenment about the probable fate of global markets, puts wind in the sails of people who are puritanical when it comes to trade and industry. Okay, so that will be, again, something helpful. It's a trine, which is beneficent, and it will help. Also on the 10th, also here, Sun in Taurus, sextile on the green line, Neptune in Pisces will cause enjoying of extravagant lifestyles. Proves useful in making spiritual ascension easier in those willing to relinquish fretting about their riches during this aspect. So this is during these specific aspects on these specific days. Now, also, we have from the 11th to the 15th on the second chart here, and we have Mercury in Gemini, square Mars in Aquarius. So we have Mercury in Gemini, square on the red line, Mars in Aquarius, which will cause quickly aggravated judgments from others, creates much trepidation amidst innovative and industrious academics. So people who are maybe very quick to temper might create anxiety in people who are very original and innovative and very, very high academic standards. Might cause some concern if people are quick to temper. Okay. Now on the 12th, that's because of the aspect Okay, and that's because of the aspect. And if someone has that, we can begin to see that, with astrology, you find out that people are the way they are because of their birth charts and how everything's aligning each day and each moment. And that can even be backed up by the fact that many scientists have proven that a person is just reacting to their chemical state, like whatever their body's producing, what they ate, what medications they were given, what they ate, what the weather is, what kind of conditions they're in will cause various brain chemistry and blood chemistry and body chemistries and cause them to behave a certain way and cause them to learn things or not learn things. And so we begin to understand that people, that actually there's a higher force, a universal force, which is actually governing everything, which is in charge of all these things, that people aren't really to blame for their actions. That doesn't mean behavior modification doesn't work, because it does, but with behavior modifications comes a change in their chemistry, which makes them able to behave in a different way. So it's really, everything that happens is of divine providence, and we have to look for the good in it to figure out what we have to do next. Okay, now for the that was for the 11th. Now for the 12th, we have Mercury in Gemini trine Saturn in Aquarius. Mercury in Gemini trine on the blue line, and that's Saturn in Aquarius, and that's Saturn retrograde, Saturn in Aquarius. A quick-tempered are beneficially soothed and calm due to a faster reflection of the universal soul's true purpose through the utilization of new sciences. So new sciences will be able to benefit the quick tempers. That's what we just talked about, and the reflection of the universal soul's true purpose and how we all come together as one. Okay, because we are all one organism, as we all know. Now, May 15th, also here, I believe, yes, also here, Sun in Taurus here, and that's going to be trine Pluto retrograde in Capricorn on the blue line, and a luxurious it's Pluto retrograde. A luxurious style of living is enjoyed by many more people because of the propensity because they have an ability to have abundance, and the prosperity made possible by advanced technical sciences, which are brought out into the open. So this is about better living styles, better status of living for everybody, and many more people. It can't be perfect yet, maybe, but as new technical advances are released and unleashed and brought out into the open, that people have had maybe and been working on, then many more people are able to be lifted up in their lifestyle and enjoy a more luxurious lifestyle, and more people will be able to enjoy that. And so technology will begin to make they say the technology and magic are the same thing, to make the magic happen, to bring people into a better state in living upon the planet Earth. Okay, now we're going to find May 17th and the planetary aspects for May 17th. We have Sun in Taurus, here on the upper chart, Sun in Taurus, and that's going to be trine Jupiter retrograde in Capricorn here, and that causes living in abundance consciousness, adds a high probability to achieving lifelong goals and objectives during this transit. And on the 20th, on the lower chart here, the 20th to the 25th, we have Venus retrograde in Gemini, and that's here, and that's going to be square on the red line Neptune in Pisces, and that causes faster up-to-the-minute technologies that predict various trends square off against creatures with psychic or intuitive abilities, because some people are psychic, and even I saw there was a psychic octopus that actually they used to tell some kind of fortune every year. I forget what they used it for, but so it's not just people, but as you know, many animals and other creatures are very, very intuitive and psychic indeed. So now on May 22nd, we have Mercury in Gemini. Mercury in Gemini here, and conjunct Venus retrograde in Gemini here as well. Social distractions are eased when the planet of love, Venus, is going to stimulate the imagination towards better methods of transporting and messaging. Okay, so that's going to be on the 22nd. Also on the 22nd is kind of a busy day. Sun in Gemini. Sun in Gemini, trine Saturn retrograde in Aquarius on the blue line. And that's a trine, which is a beneficial aspect. And newfound eagerness about innovative methods of making contact with and transporting those in need puts divine providence on the side of those at the forefront of these kinds of kind of causes and campaigns to kind of get everybody lifted up, to not, you know, all the people have been lifting themselves up by their bootstraps, and now also there's a big lift, you know, then the whole society tries to lift everybody up as well, and everybody kind of comes up together, and everybody, you know, kind of goes up, and it's people that have those kinds of causes will be at the forefront of that, and they'll be trying to make that beneficial for people they're now thinking that that's a good idea and eager about it. Now, also on May 22nd, Mercury in Gemini here, and that's square Neptune and Pisces on the red line. Neptune and Pisces, and societal disruptions and irritations create apprehension in people who are clairvoyant, clairaudient, and clairsentient. So that's a day when, if on the 22nd, because of this Mercury and Gemini square Neptune and Pisces, that's a day when, if you're clairsentient, clairvoyant, or clairpsychic, that means if you can see visions, if you can hear visions, or if you can feel something is happening. Different people have, and different creatures have different ways of sensing things. It's the way clairsentience is sensing. But these kinds of things, like they call it, like clairaudient is also called clear hearing, and it happens it's just like a that might have a receiver, a natural receiver in their brain, or natural receivers in their brains, natural, given by Mother Nature, where they are able to pick up frequencies that other people cannot, like a dog can hear a whistle that humans cannot, that kind of a thing. And it's those, they say that people who are, they used to call it clear hearing, the clairaudient or clairvoyant, clear seeing, or clairsentient, clear sensing, comes from people who, for some reason, had to be very vigilant as children because maybe they were in a dangerous situation. So they had to be very, very vigilant and know what everybody was thinking and feeling, and because if they didn't, it was very dangerous. People in precarious situations when they were very young, or infants or very young children, and that's how many people developed this, and that's probably something pretty easily proved. Now on May 25th, 2020, we have Mars in Pisces here, and that's going to be sextile Uranus in Taurus here, okay? And that sextile is on the green line right here, okay? I'm going to put, these are going to be up on our Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel Facebook page, where we have our planetary aspects for you. And then the reading part, if you want to read this instead, that's on the Readings by Rosemary on Facebook page that we have. Okay, so the Mars in Pisces sextile Uranus retrograde in Taurus, that's going to cause introverted, highly strung, ingenious people nudge themselves into financial freedom through increasing their knowledge and expertise in newly released high-tech systems. Okay, so people that are like kind of nervous types or high-strung, tightly wound, and introverted, but geniuses, very ingenious types of people, are going to kind of nudge themselves into financial freedom. They're going to find more financial freedom. They're going to do it themselves, kind of venture out a little bit through increasing their knowledge and expertise in newly released high-tech systems. They're going to be able to make money you know, if they're introverted because they're paying attention, they're high strung and they're ingenious, and they're going to really use the high technology to make a lot of money. So people who fit into that category are going to do very well. That's on the 25th, when that might become something you want to pay even more attention to than you normally do. Okay, now we're going to take just a quick rundown of the Hebrew calendar associations and the Zodiac. That's called Mazaroth. In Hebrew, it's called Mazaroth, is for Zodiac. Okay, and that's the placements for planets regarding the ingresses. This is for the ingresses, and we do this because it's our because we had studied in the order that we were in earlier. We had studied Hebrew a bit, and also found that there's a lot more understanding you can get from some other sources, you know, that are extra biblical and part of a lot of Hebrew writings and early Christian writings that might have some of these terms, and you might begin to see that these are actually things that are paid attention to by clergy, but they just use different terminology, so that we're all actually not really enemies. We're actually doing the same thing. We're all just using different language. So it's time, since we're one world, we need to start understanding we're all pretty much doing the same thing, and we need to be a little more tolerant of each other and not think that somebody else is evil just because they're using a different language. Okay, so the sun, Shemesh, ingress Gemini, Teomim, full moon, Lavana for moon, and for full moon, Keseh or Shabbat, Moshiach, and we'll ingress into Scorpio, and that is called A-Crab for Scorpio. And the new moon, again, Lavana for moon, Rosh Kodesh for the new moon. In Gemini is Teomim for Gemini, and Mercury is called Kokav, ingress Gemini, Teomim. Then Mercury, Kokav, will ingress Cancer, Sarten. Venus, Noga. There are no ingresses for Venus in May 2020. And for Mars, that's called Ma'adim, will ingress into Pisces. Pisces is Dagim. Jupiter is called Zedek. And Zedek ingress, we don't have any in May of 2020 for Jupiter. Saturn is called Shabbatai. There are no ingresses in May for Saturn. Uranus is called Oron. No ingresses in May. Neptune is called Rahab, and there's no ingresses for Neptune. And Pluto, there's no Hebrew word, and there is no ingress this month. Now keep in mind that achieving goals and accomplishing phenomenal success through astrology, angel magic, supernatural interventions are all possible if one knows when and whom to evoke. Magicians must also consider how various planetary and zodiacal angelic beings will interact with each other, making sure to invoke potent forces of light that will extend into facets of the Magi's life, predetermined by her or him for specific purposes in alignment with the magician's true will. Now, magic must be taken seriously, since it is an ancient method of manifestation intended for practical victories over constricting forces which set our 3D physical reality into motion. Magic has rules just like any other science, which must be devotedly applied to practice. The magicians strive not to break natural laws, but rather to understand how Mother Nature manifests her creations so that we are able to work in tandem with her. Information found in this document and in this video, and we have links below, are based on the oral tradition known as Kabbalah, taught to me by Rosicrucian clergy when I was but a young girl, the facts of which I've committed to memory. Thank you for joining us, and please join us again.